Alrighty, welcome back to our 7-point Highlander 500 today. Let me just update the old round name here. We're in the finals now.
This is the finals. We've got Marcus Courts on Kespile again.
A lot of
and Gene
Kespile.
Holland on High Tide. So this is the same match as we saw in the semi-finals. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, same decks, different pilots. Marcus is one of our Frankston crew today, so we've got a couple of them up here. I don't know what Marcus said in the previous match, but I'm damn proud of these boys. They started playing Highlander maybe less than 6 weeks ago.
That's fantastic. Already in the finals of an event. I think Melbourne need to lift the game.
Well, they've already identified the best deck, right?
Yeah.
So we just need to make sure they don't die to back to basics and they can roll through.
Well, let's have a look. Gene has started off on a Portent, and Marcus is leading on a search for Azcanta.
So I think Marcus's deck is slightly different to your classic Kess pile. I'm seeing Drown Catacomb, which is very greedy in a in the moon meta.
In the moon meta. I don't think we had too many moons today. It was
No, it wasn't too bad.
Maybe a couple of Kess sideboards, but nothing where we've got it as the dedicated deck. But Gene is obviously running the infamous back to basic, which is pretty much won in both of his games in the semis.
Well, let's not discount too much. He did have to do a lot of card moving and sorting and drawing and putting back and drawing again before he actually won the game officially. But yes, the back to basics turned his opponent off while he sort of played with himself the whole time.
True. So we're starting off, we're looking at the search. So starting on some hard dirtling, getting rid of the Collins command.
This is a classic sort of Melbourne deck. It's doing nothing really.
Well, that's like both decks are just cantrips and doing nothing, right?
Well, that's
and then
it, yeah.
Eventually the Kess pile either decides to play some proper creatures or Gene decides to high tide.
And Baleful Strix is about as proper as it becomes in this deck. It's a 1/1 flyer. That's pretty good, right?
That's right.
That's all you need. 20 turn clock. So Marcus has he's elected to start the search for his counter by discarding a Colligan's Command, which is, I would argue, one of the better cards in this matchup because it kills the candles.
It kills the candle, but there's only one candle in the deck and there's no other artifact. So I don't think you're really wanting to kind of hedge your bets against a one-of in the deck.
That is fair. That is fair. The candle is quite obviously powerful in this matchup, and maybe Shatter discard will be quite damaging to Gene. But again, honestly, Marcus is, as I said, quite new, and I don't know if he knows what Gene's deck is even doing.
Yeah, well, he has to have been watching in the earlier matches, so...
He 2-0'd his last opponent quite quickly, so he was watching this match while I was table judging it.
Oh, okay. So he gets out the Badlands. He's not really respecting the... Well, he did need the red source, so that might just be why we've got
maybe he has no choice.
He is not really respecting the back to
I don't
basics.
see any red cards in his hand.
Yeah, so goes for the fatal push on Jace.
I like this here. There's not many good targets for fatal push. May as well get value while you can.
Well, it looks like Gene's deciding whether or not it needs to be countered or not. Tries to mystical tutor in response.
Okay.
So I think this is end of Gene's turn.
I think this must be in response to...
Yeah, so this is... Marcus was on the play. So this is just while Marcus is tapped out, we're going to go and get a piece, and it's going to be a high tide. We've got a reader here.
You don't want to be reading High Tide, mate. This is not a good card you want to be reading. I hope he's just checking something on it. It definitely says Islands. Yes, it definitely says Islands.
All players' islands.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's
a mirrored effect. It's just that usually the high tide player has a few more islands and a few more ways to exploit it.
Your opponent's islands are always tapped.
Yeah, for some strange reason.
Does Gene play Giga Drowse?
No Giga Drowse.
That feels like a card that could...
That's
with Counter Trigger?
I just remember the old days of Kamigawa where you'd tap all your opponent's lands and then you target them and tap them again. Just in case I tried to counter something.
Back in Ravnica Kamigawa block.
Yeah, that was a hell of a format.
Discarding a Liliana. Not a great card in the matchup. It's very mana intensive for not a lot of onboard presence.
That's true, but as I was saying in the second game of the last match, Gene can't really deal with it if that goes off. I think just having the threat of a multiple horde of zombies being sent at you.
It turns up the clock, but that's really all it does. It doesn't have any other abilities. It can regrow creatures from Marcus's graveyard, but
they're not really ending up there.
Yeah, not right now.
So
how many creatures does Kess Pile play? In this version, at least. I'm not quite sure. It's not many. It's Kess, Baleful Strix, Snap Custom Mage. That's really it.
Vendilion Click might be in there.
He's definitely played Click. I saw that in the Swiss.
I assume there's a baby Jace, but that's not really a creature.
That's true. Yeah, he comes back off Liliana.
That's true.
That's what we're talking about here. Can you see what's in Dean's hand quite there?
I cannot at the
It's
moment.
probably a bunch of old boarded blue cards I don't know. Although I think
discard's a true name.
he's just throwing away good cards. This is an interesting matchup.
We don't need a threat.
Well, that's the thing. So he's
We don't
throwing
need
away
counter spells.
he's throwing away cards that are usually excellent in Highlander in Melbourne, and in this matchup they're just garbage.
Yeah,
'Cause they're just a 3/1. It could be any 3/1. It could be any random creature with 3 power, and it's the same against Gene. All right, poking him for 1. 18 turns left.
Okay, the true name's a little bit different in that, like, Gene's main defense against creatures is tapping them. Not tapping them, is bouncing them back to their hand. So, like, you can't do that with the true name, but still trying to get a proper glance at Gene's hand here.
Is that a cryptic command? I can see
that is a cryptic command. There's a high tide. There is, I think I saw a brain freeze.
That looks
earlier.
like a high tide brain freeze in the middle there.
Yep.
Which is the combo. Those
Start
joining us just this round.
Okay, so we've got cryptic command. Draw and what? I don't think you're bouncing.
We're not bounce draw.
Bounce land, maybe?
I don't think Gene knows. Oh, we were bouncing the island.
Okay, so we're bouncing land and we're drawing a card.
Well, you can't have islands if you're going to high tide, right? You don't want your opponent to play a 5-drop on you.
Yeah, well, Mystic Confluence.
That's a hell of a card. That'd be a great play. I'd love to see that.
So while Marcus was looking through his deck for the fetch before, I think I noticed there was gifts ungiven, so also opting for that variation like our last player.
Recently depointed gifts ungiven.
As I was saying, I don't think I like the gifts as much in the Grixis shell, maybe something like Esper.
Yeah, I'm currently playing an Esper Gifts package. It's been pretty fun. But in the Gifts, like if you're already playing Fact or Fiction, you can argue that it's better than Fact or Fiction if it just gets specific cards. Like you just get
true.
Liliana, Gulligan's Command, Snapcaster Mage, Kess. So that's a pretty good pile.
Not going to complain.
It's going to go round and round and round.
Okay, so we're beginning the combo, and there is a Palinchron in hand, which can't currently be cast.
The Palinchron costs 7, is that right?
Cost 7.
He's got 6 mana currently.
So if he's got 1 untap effect, then he can go for the infinite, and he's got the brain freeze to go with the infinite mana.
He needs how much mana total? He's 7, 8, 11? 11 to untap to bounce it as well?
No, because when you play it, 7 lands get untapped. So you just need
just 7.
to be able to play it originally.
Cloud of Fairies?
Yep, Cloud of Fairies untaps 2, and then we've got the mana we need.
Now here we are. I think this is probably the end, right? It's assuming Marcus does not have interaction.
Look what Marcus has in hand. He's got 3 spells, and
I see a lightning bolt. He saw something he could bolt and got excited. I see rest there. He needs a hard counter here to stop the Palinchron.
Yeah.
He also needs to identify that that's the thing that's going to win the game. I think he will. But this is...
He's definitely gone into the tank on this one. You can see the expression at the top of the screen.
For sure. It's Storm is such a rough deck to play and play against because you're never safe.
Yeah, you're never quite sure. Also, when they start baiting, it's just like, well, lead on the ritual and you counter. It's like, okay, that was bait. Go off this other way.
Oh yeah, that's the next level meta discussion, isn't there?
Okay, so we've got a frantic search.
He's just filtering his hand, making sure he's got the perfect grip before he actually tries to win the game. Although honestly, I think he could just go Palinchron, Brain Freeze, and end this right now. But I guess he's scared about Marcus could have mana drain. He could have. Oh no, he's only got 1 blue. He could only have negate or maybe mana leak or something like that.
I've just realised that you actually do need the extra 2 lands to go infinite with Palinchron, so you can pay 4 and then pay 7 again.
Oh, of course, yes, you do.
So a little bit silly on my part there. It looks like he is going for the Temple Fisher, bouncing Marcus's board though.
Yeah, look, wouldn't be upset with that. If you haven't got any permanents, you can't talk. That's a rule.
See whether he abides by it.
There was. I walked over to Marcus earlier today and he had no permanents. I think he may have played Gene this week.
Okay, so he's gone the Palinchron.
Untap 7 lands.
Yep,
He
up
has
to
4.
7.
So that resolved that. Gene must be feeling pretty good now.
I think he's just going to go the Temple Fisher for the board here, but we'll see what happens.
I'm a 4/5.
I believe so. Like, that's still a clock.
Yeah, I wonder if it randomly had 3 toughness. I don't think it does.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that lightning bolt's looking real spicy. Palinchron versus Legacy All-Star. It is a 4/5 flyer. There's a Mind Desire.
Goes from Mind's Desire.
For
Storm is 6.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
So shuffle, cut, reveal, shuffle, cut, reveal.
Yeah.
Hopefully we shortcut here. For those who don't know, mine's Desire. Shuffles the library, then reveals the top card, and you can play the card until the end of turn. The trick is, once a deck is shuffled, it is sufficiently randomized, and we can shortcut here to just flip the top 6 because it has Storm.
Until you have an instant.
Yes,
Then you
that is
might
true.
decide to cast that.
That is completely reasonable. For those tuning in this round, this is the 7-point Highlander 500, which means there's at least $500 cash prizes for this event. And it is the Australian 7-point Highlander format, which is slightly different to other Highlander formats around the world. We have 60 card decks, 20 life, 7 points of cards. So no actual Magic cards are banned; they are pointed. So, example, Black Lotus being one of the strongest is 4 points. Things like that. This format's getting a bit more traction around the world. That's why we wanted to televise this one, essentially.
Yep. So we've got an opt here. We have a Flood of Revelation. There is an Impulse, a Calculation, I believe.
Yeah, that's
and
miscalc.
a Finale of Revelation. Now, the Finale is a little bit awkward at the moment because Mind's Desire will automatically treat X as 0, so he can't actually cast it for any cards, but he might be able to put it into his graveyard and then recur it somehow.
It
which
counts
is
as Storm.
something. Yeah, that as well. And all the cards are able to be cast for free.
Did he cast Opt so far? 7, 8, 9, 10. So Storm's
Yeah, so he's cast
11.
Opt.
If he casts all those, Storm goes to 11.
Yep, so it's not quite enough to brain freeze someone out of the game, but close enough.
What is the number? Range freeze is 3 cards.
That's 3. So you need to do 20 for their whole library minus whatever they played, which. So it needs to be about 16.
16. So it's still a ways off.
Yeah.
If he can get some untap effects and get the Palinchron going up and down, then that'll end it.
Does have the Chain of Vapor there in hand.
I guess Marcus is sitting on no interaction. It's just hoping Dean whiffs, essentially, which is
And
difficult to do.
There's a Time Spiral there, which he just hit off the Impulse.
So
we might be going for a new grip.
He can float 8, cast Time Spiral, net 2 mana, untap them all. Can that get him towards the Palinchron? He goes 2 and 2 more. That means he draws Palinchron. Then he can play it again, untap it. He's in a good spot now.
Yeah, so you can do not infinite mana, but just
a lot.
Yeah, just gradually reducing Storm.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to decide whether or not the Time Spiral is where he wants to be, or whether he's wanting to cast a few more of the cards from Style. Okay, so goes for the Flood.
What does Flood do?
It gets back an instant or sorcery graveyard.
Yep. The newer cards?
One of them. So with Flood of Recollection, sorcery, return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand, exile Flood of Recollection.
The safety clause on all those cards now.
Yep, they
High Tide again. This will definitely do it, right? Each land
so
now tests for 3.
Well, now we can do the infinite mana with Palinchron.
This will just shortcut the whole thing.
Yeah, so just demonstrating by the look of it.
So unless Marcus has a dismember or something, this
goes for Time Spiral.
This is the correct play, I think, because he's going to draw probably some sort of piece of information like a counterspell or something. If he went for the Palinchron straight away, he A, wouldn't have enough lands, and B, might get blown out by some sort of piece of removal.
So he's Marcus just reading to make sure he knows what this one does. This is going to give him a chance to interact, though, again. So
what do I see here? I see an island. I see a red card. What's that? Yes, the setup at the moment, which we're keeping it fairly minimalistic in the store, so our hand cams aren't set up currently. We need space today. That gold card. Maybe a Dreadball?
I think it's the new sacrifice a artifact creature
or
planeswalker card. But I'm not 100% certain.
So we're going for a Time Spiral.
Yep.
Which is, I love that it's meant to be the fixed version of Time Twister, but were they
even
wrong?
More broken.
It's more broken somehow. They managed to double its mana and make it worse.
Yeah.
I remember Richard, Mark Rosewater did a sort of a 20 years in 20 minutes speech, and he said that they went through this block and they tried to fix all the cards, and then they changed this one, they added untapped lands and ruined everything.
Well, there was a few different cards that they were trying to fix. So Black Lotus became Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yep.
Still a broken card. Necro became Yawgmoth's Bargain.
Made it
still
so
a broken
much
card.
more broken.
And what was the other one?
That was, Mario admitted that was his fault. He said I tried to make Necro easier to understand, and they made it way worse for the game.
But yeah, I did enjoy just that slow period of them doing it. The Marcus just checking whether he's got a counter spell.
Got a
There is
mental misstep
cryptic
and a
in there,
spell snare. Well, he's actually picked up a bunch of interaction here.
just nothing relevant.
No, a brain freeze is 2 mana, right? You can count one of them.
Yeah.
Save the last 3
That'll be
cards in your
great.
deck.
Okay, so one taps. Goes for gifts.
What do we got here? We got spell snare, mental misstep.
They can see gifts, brainstorm, ponder.
That's a hell of a
Pick a
blue
land.
hand from Gene.
That
I love Gene in events.
I think that's another Mind's Desire.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going forward again.
Yeah, this card doesn't exile
So
itself.
I'm
for some
currently
reason.
on 10.
Does this make it 11 or is this 10?
So it's 10 plus itself.
Yeah.
Marcus
Marcus is done. He's sick of it.
He's out.
I do agree. It gets quite tedious.
There was this great period which lasted about 3 months where you could have multiple Mind's Desire in your deck, and your Mind's Desire could hit another one, so they'll just continue stacking.
There's a fun format on MTGO that they removed called Classic. And that was the only form where you could play 4 Mind's Desire, and me and my housemate Ty, we used to just make the most ridiculous decks, all fueled by 4 Mind's Desire.
Classic was the one that they had as like vintage light with no power.
Yeah, that's
Except they still let people play shop, so it was just
Soul Ring
the most broken deck.
We used to basically put Moto to the test, and spoilers, Moto doesn't hold up to the test very often. We're like, what happens if every permanent is a forest that taps for infinite mana and you can't stop it? Just stuff like that, and we used to do that, and it just always start with 4 Mind's Desire. Because that was the easiest way to do anything in that format.
It's true.
Ritual, Mind's Desire, and then the whole deck plays itself.
Yeah.
So I immediately see Marcus jump for his Red Blast, like he couldn't get them in. He couldn't get them in fast enough.
No, it's definitely the right deck to be bonding in Red Blast again.
He went past Culligan's Command. I think you just think it's that good.
Not sure what that was. It came out then.
What's Gene put in?
So last time, Gene put in a defense grid, a Narset.
Makes sense.
Narset. I looked at these cards just before, so I should know what they are. So there was 4 cards, and not sure what the other ones are anymore.
There's the old Palancron.
Yep.
Criminal himself.
So it looks like Cloud of Fairy.
He's taken out Dreadball. Is that Vraska's Contempt? That's an interesting card in Highlander.
That is definitely a card you can play. Looking at the Gomag Angler, just trying to decide whether or not the creatures are reasonable at the moment or not to be playing. Looked like Marcus has finally started on a deck configuration, and so has Gene. So just beginning now and resetting the light.
Perfect.
So it looks like Hide is the deck to crush Kespile with. All you need is enough money to get a candelabra, right?
That's it. That is it. Oh yeah, every player in today's tournament is playing with real Magic cards, which is good to see.
Yep.
Some real old Magic cards.
This will give players a little bit of an idea of what the meta might be. I think we've got one of the big interstate tournaments coming up, so we'll be able to spread this around other players who might be coming down for that.
Yeah, well, we talked. I imagine you spoke last round about the Adelaide event that just happened.
I didn't, but
You didn't. Well, I'm sitting here with the Adelaide champion, Graham King.
Yes, so I wasn't able to make it with today, but I was playing Blue Moon for that, the boogeyman of the format.
The boogeyman. Look, it's hotly contested. Some would say Kespile's more of a boogeyman.
That's true. I think it's a more powerful deck. I definitely don't like playing against it sometimes.
It feels so fair, but then you just lose.
Yeah.
You know what happened? You just die.
It's
just do
got
good
better
things.
2-for-1s than you do.
They just do good things, good thing, and then it ends up. But this is actually an interesting sort of expose of where its weaknesses lie. Like Baleful Strix, who cares when you're just going to kill them?
5-land Liliana, and I think that's a discard spell. But I don't think you can keep that by any stretch of
Liliana
the
Inquisition,
imagination.
maybe?
Oh, yes, I think it's an Inquisition.
Gene's looking at... Oh, Gene Mulligan. I thought that hand was quite good. I saw multiple Ponder-ish cards.
Like Marcus might be keeping the 5-land 2 discard hand. That's definitely something you can
The
do.
deck draws real well. Is it Liliana Last Hope or Liliana Veil?
Liliana the Veil.
Yeah, so you turn 1 Inquisition them, turn 2 nothing. Maybe you draw something. Turn 3 play a Liliana. You're really pressuring the Storm deck.
Well, he is on the play, so
maybe Marcus feels he can't actually interact with his deck at all. Maybe he doesn't feel like he's got a chance with a fair hand. Maybe he just tries to cheese the win with just the multiple discard spells.
Gene does have to go for because of how the deck plays. It's almost only just the land which make it into play, which means you're very much just playing out of your hand, and that's like I think hand disruption is just a little bit more powerful because of that effect.
Yeah, fair enough. Would you, as Marcus, fire off the Inquisition now, or would you hold it for a turn?
I think you want to try and stop him sculpting his hand, so I think you just go for it on the first turn.
So you'd be looking for Ponders or Preordains or Brainstorms.
I think so.
Interesting. If
Marcus,
you see the High Tide, would you just pick that off straight away?
Yeah. Take that. I can see Marcus boarded in Nihil Spellbomb as he was flicking through his deck.
Not a bad one.
And he's paying attention to the back to basics this time. So we've got the basic swamp, the lead, and we're going for the Inquisition.
Yeah, for sure.
So Gene lays down Merchant Scroll, Chain of Vapor.
I think I'd be tempted to
four
hold
cards that he can't touch. So we've got Island Delta, Temple Fisher, and Turnabout.
Marcus is going to read every single one of these cards. It's great to see new players, but man, this is a crucible to come through. As sort of
this is definitely not something that you would.
You've made the top cut of a pretty prestigious event. There's good prizes today, quite a lot of money on the line, and this is a deck he's literally never seen.
I would say that is the right choice to be taking. There,
I completely agree, because that represents a High Tide.
That's a High Tide, and the Turnabout only works once you've got the High Tide.
Gene, ever the gentleman, playing open for his opponent.
Yep.
I do respect the Highlander community and the honor that comes with the games.
So it goes for the island.
I guess when we're playing with expensive cardboard, everything else kind of feels a bit trivial.
This is true.
So
You're just trying to decide the lands that you're playing, I think. So it goes for the one.
Last round, that never untapped. Stayed tapped forever.
That is true.
Delta Island. Didn't see any fetches from.
See exactly. Yeah, he's got the 4 blue fetches in deck, just as a shuffle effect to help out with Brainstorm, but he is just mono islands in terms of his mana base.
But no, not even a Field of Ruin or something.
No Field of Ruin.
It's very dedicated.
Yeah, well, I think Field of Ruin is interesting if you've got the back to basics in your deck, because it helps out your opponent a little bit.
It does, but it also stops you dying to a Dark Depths. It can happen really quickly.
I think there's about 5 different bounce effects that just that Gene has in his deck for himself, but they also just happen to hit his opponent's stuff.
So he
as
probably
well.
doesn't need that.
So, yep, still going on the fetching basics plan. We've got mismatch full art swamps for Marcus.
Yep. Are they both John Avon at least? No, I think one is name now. Oh. Look, he's respecting the back to basics. He didn't actually see it game 1, so he's obviously done a little bit of scouting throughout the event, or he may have played him in the Swiss. I can't quite remember.
I don't know. So we've got the Lily that we knew about from the opening hand.
I imagine we'll be ticking up and just hoping to ruin his hand. Really hard to go off with less than 4 cards.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a counterspell. That's a deep analysis.
That is a deep analysis. That's a crafty one to discard, Gene.
Yep.
I like that. It saves him a couple of mana.
And we've got land as the other card in hand. Flashback for 1 blue and a life, 3 life.
Two. So 1 and a blue, and then 3 life. Yeah. Bolt you on the way up. Old design. They love putting lightning bolt on things. They really Tarnish Citadel and this thing. It's like just bolt you as well.
Tarnish Citadel hurts a lot.
It sure does. I can imagine you're a man who's played it.
I've played it once. Didn't enjoy it.
I've played it in Commander when I was very greedy. I do own a foil Tarnish Citadel.
I haven't had to play it recently because I pinned Mana Confluence and then a few other multicolored lands. I'm saying, don't need to see this setting anymore.
It's definitely like a 7th string 5-color land. Okay, if you have an Urborg. At least it doesn't bolt you every time it's tapped like it could. Like
yeah, well, it's not as bad as what's the card? Playing the Lotus Veil, which is like taps to 3, but you sack 3 lands on the way it comes down, and you get that one wasteland and just like, what is my life?
Or your opponent blinks it. Flicker whips it.
Haven't had that happen to him.
No, I haven't played Lotus Vale enough to actually see it happen, but that's just what I think in my head when I see it.
Okay, so I think that's a mission briefing and a Jace.
That is definitely a Jace. Or it's a Chandra if he needs it to be, yes.
Yeah. Look, I can see him playing red in this deck. Put in Past in Flames.
Yeah.
Put in
Faithless
some
Looting.
of the wheel effects.
Yep.
Wheel of Fortune recently being depointed as well.
Yeah, that is a very powerful card at 0.
Okay, so decides to draw the Jace. Did he keep the mission briefing on top there?
I believe he top.
Yeah, okay.
Draws the Jace because the mission briefing is more important, so he's going to hide it from Thoughtseizers and friends. He may even just draw the Jace so he can discard it.
Oh. Templefish is interesting. I don't think I've
Oh.
actually
Thoughtseize.
seen it cast too many times yet.
So is he going to take Brain Freeze here?
Take here.
There's a turnabout. That's the
Yeah, so
storm.
turnabout is you can untap all
your
lands.
lands.
Artifacts, or creatures target
Yes.
player controls. Yeah,
Does it
so
say tap or untap? Just out of interest.
tap or untap?
Yeah, okay.
And target player.
So it's fairly versatile. Obviously, with High Tide, it
I have
generates
seen it.
mana.
I have seen it misdirection before, so that someone untapped all their lands instead of their high tide opponent.
Oh, I love it when old cards get sort of broken like that.
Yeah.
They just sort of fall apart.
Yeah. Look, I feel like I may have taken the Jace here from Marcus' point of view, depending on what's in hand. He does have the Lily to deal with it, but it's just something whereby
I think I would have Lilianed first. And then you see what your opponent doesn't want, and then you can sort of get an idea of what they're trying to protect.
yeah.
Definitely top with Preordain. But Jace is quite a powerful card here. Jace does undo a lot of the discard that happened earlier in the game. But Marcus is...
So Marcus is down to 1 card in hand. Do we know what that is at the moment?
Look, I probably should know.
Okay, so goes to mission briefing.
Here we go. This is the Ravnica Allegiance card, or is it? No, this is a Guilds of Ravnica card. Demir, Surveil, like Scry,
Okay,
but
so
you put in
we've
the
got
graveyard.
2 land. I think we're going to bottom both. Well, not bottom, sorry.
Bin 'em
We're going
both.
to bin them both.
Yeah, I agree. I love Surveil over Scry. It feels so good. Cards are still there. They're just like
Goes
drawing 4
for
cards.
Merchant Scroll getting the high tide.
Why I think I would have kept Thoughtseize.
For later.
It's like every time you pressure with Liliana, he's going to try and wait a little bit longer before he goes off. It'd be nice to try and snipe it just at the end. But also, it's easy for me to say that sitting here in the booth, not on the table.
You didn't do 7 rounds of Magic to
Nothing
get
on
here
the
today.
line. Yeah, exactly right. And there's definitely an argument for firing off the Thoughtseize just in case he already had it.
Okay, so, yep, he does decide to go for the high tide.
Even if he casts High Tide, he can't really do anything with it currently. He's going to need to draw some pretty spicy cards. He's going to need a wheel.
I think we're going to
wheel or
have to see Jace next turn, hope that survives the turn, and then...
I wonder if
I don't
Marcus took
know.
out all his removal creatures. It wouldn't be a terrible play. Like, there's not
Yeah.
many.
There's not many, but the few that are
If it
around are
doesn't-
still helpful.
Most of the removal Kest plays, or at least Grixis Highlander decks play, don't usually kill 4/5s.
No, you've got... I think there's a Dismember floating around in there. You've got Terminate, though. You've got Dreadbore.
Terminate and Dreadbore. Some people don't even play Terminate. I've seen lots of Dreadbore, lots of Fatal Push, not many. Hey,
Okay, we've got
do
a
we
Jace.
just Fate Seal here?
I think you need to Fate Seal.
Or do you try and find your own interaction? I think I would Fate Seal this turn. And then
Yeah.
maybe next turn I would...
No,
No,
let's
straight
go
for
for the
Brainstorm.
Brainstorm.
Look, again,
Land,
I can't
land, Flusterstorm.
really... Has he played a land this turn?
Ah.
God, I hope not. It's going to be a spicy game if he hasn't.
I think we've got like the good, just like the legacy Grixis control, just prison set up there.
Mm.
Like, just the power Planeswalkers is just going to take over the game from here. Now, this is interesting because can't use the Lily tick up anymore.
Yeah, but
So it's just like, something's up with that
it's
card
a
in
bit
hand.
of a red flag for Gene. Maybe you'd use it and then discard the Scalding Tire and then just hope he doesn't kill you. It's very hard for Gene to draw a card that actually wins the game here on its own. You'd have to be a Time Spiral or something.
Yeah,
And
something
then
like Time
even
Spiral.
then, it's still pretty anemic. You'd rather wait a turn or two. On a 15. But Gene hasn't got long. If he doesn't win the game very soon, he's going to get buried under the 2 Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Discard your hand. I'll Sculpt your drawers. I'll eventually find something to do.
And just the power of the Lily. It's something whereby I almost might have gone up to 6 with the Lily because that tick down ultimate is just so powerful here. Dean needs like at least 4 lands to be going off, and just like putting him back down to 2 or 3, that's devastating.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've got a High Tide. We're going to see what the last card is, because
All right.
he is going. Well, I'm not sure what else it'd be doing.
Oh, I thought maybe. Yeah, I guess you're right. It depends what you do.
Goes
That's
for
an impulse. Wouldn't
High
impulse?
Tide into Impulse.
He has to do it first, otherwise he doesn't have enough mana, does he?
Yeah.
Because what's he want to draw now? He has.
Well, this is the same amount of mana as just casting Impulse. So it gets Dig Through Time, V-Click, Gifts, and Time Spiral.
But the trick is though, if he cast impulse first, he'd have to tap a third mana to tap for High Tide here, and he wouldn't have enough. He can currently cast this Time Spiral, which I think Marcus just has to Flusterstorm.
Yeah. Like,
Otherwise, he has to spin the wheel.
It's going to be Time Spiral, and that's going to get countered by the Fluster.
Which
that's exactly what you want when you keep that Fluster hand in time.
You want to fluster the Brain Freeze after he's done everything. But
that's true as well.
That's me being greedy. You want to fluster every single Brain Freeze.
You just let the Time Spiral resolve?
And hope he doesn't have infinite mana kicking around, which can happen, unfortunately.
It can.
So yeah, I think it's very clear what Marcus has to do here, and I bet he's glad he played the land and didn't use Liliana. So here's Marcus's play being vindicated, and
not 100% certain, but I think the rate of, depending on how much land you have, the rate of mana gain that you get off Palancone doesn't necessarily race the Flusterstorm.
Right.
You've just got parity, because you're gaining 1 mana for each loop. If you've got exactly...
But if you do it enough times, you can just create 5 billion mana.
You can, but you've got Storm, which is equal to the amount of mana generated.
Right, so if you're only making 1 each, you don't have enough.
Yeah, you need to make more than 1.
Yeah, okay. It's like
which you can do, but you just need to have the right number of land.
Okay, sure. It's like the old food chain Prosh. It sort of peters out after Prosh costs 50 in Commander, and you try to food chain it. Well, I'll excel it for 8, get 50 guys.
Fair.
So, yeah.
Okay, so, yep, that did get flustered, and we're ticking up now. Made a decision?
Right, Gene wouldn't have been happy about that, I think.
No.
So the thing is, though, even though that was a huge play for Marcus, the game is still far from over. He has to actually win the game at some point.
I'm not sure about that. I think, oh, wow.
Well, that speeds things up. The Wandering Funeral could get there pretty quickly, I guess.
It could, but I think Gene's game at the moment is based around that Jace Vryn's Prodigy. And because he's having his draws filtered, and if that goes away, like with a Lily tick down, I don't think he's getting back in this game.
You reckon he should just concede and go to game 3 at this point? It's pretty close.
It is, but yeah, I don't... It's a very hard prison on Marcus's side.
He may as well keep playing, because it is an untimed round. He's just going to see more information about Marcus's deck, but the mental fatigue is definitely a factor.
I just play High Tide on auto drive.
Just play High Tide.
What could go wrong?
I played High Tide and I played Brain Freeze. Didn't you die? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah. Put the top 6 down, hope you're dead.
I guess if he draws... Has he got that? What's that bounce spell called with Storm?
He's got Temporal Fissure in his deck.
Temporal Fissure. Is it in the graveyard? Have we lost it already? I feel like we had it earlier this game. Maybe it was last game. But if he draws that and then just does a couple of things, he can bounce all 3 Planeswalkers.
Can.
That has to happen after Marcus already Fate Seals. Before Jace gets to Ultimate.
That's true.
So I guess Jace is the actual clock here. It's hard to go off.
So Jace is on 5 at the moment. So we've got a 6-turn clock. Except we've got Lily about to, I think, tick Gene down to 3.
It's hard to go off when you have no library. Does Gene play Laboratory Maniac?
He does not.
Okay. Well, that may be one of his wins.
Edible.
Come on, show us what you got. What is it? Oh, it's Defense Grid. So Marcus says, yes, that doesn't do anything, but I'm not a fan of it.
I'm not sure how much I want that in play.
But it doesn't kill him, so he just has to... Oh, he's doing it. He's ultimating.
Yep, okay.
I would have been so tempted to wait a turn.
So keeps the Jace on one side with the 2 land and has the 3 land on the other.
That's very interesting, because he's expecting Gene to keep the 3 lands. What if Gene does, and then we can just keep going? I think I would have been tempted to either tick up Liliana one more time, or just edict the Jace and make sure Gene has no options. As we said earlier, it's a Storm deck, it's a time bomb, it can go off at any point.
Yeah, so he goes for the Jace keep.
Triple strip mine. I think that's correct. At least in what I'm seeing.
I'm fine with triple strip mine for 1 black.
Yeah, but it's what it represents as well. It stops him. It stops the It's triple strip mine for 1 black, but it stops the ability to remove the Jace,
Yeah.
except for bouncing it, which he can't now, and the Jace will flip next turn, so it's off the table. Liliana can't kill the Jace. He can neg 2 Liliana to get a creature back if he has one.
I'm not sure if I've even seen one this game.
I don't think so. Marcus really
Thing is,
removed
though,
a lot of his options.
So the funeral flip can obviously deal damage to the flip Jace here, so like that does a
That
little
is
bit
true.
damage. But
So maybe that's his line. Maybe he wants Jace to flip, use 1 card. Hopefully, he doesn't lose the game. Look again, 2 mana. What's he gonna do? I think maybe you're right. Maybe I'm overthinking. I would probably be a little overcautious here, but I think Marcus is right.
okay, yeah, so he is going for the funeral,
Well,
and
he's got no other cards in hand. What's he protecting?
Yeah,
Get in for
exactly.
4. Go to 11.
Go for 4. Being down to 11. Looks like he's taking it.
Oh yeah, he's not going to block the funeral. That'd be catastrophic.
Well, he can do the old block flip trick next turn, maybe.
Yeah.
But do you want to do that, or do you just want to start drawing cards again straight away?
Depends what he drew, right?
Yeah.
Marcus. Oh, he drew defense grid because we left on top. Interesting. Look, so Jace is on 7, if I can read that die correctly.
Yep.
Liliana goes to 6 next turn. Jace goes to 9. Flip Jace comes in at 5 and goes up to 6, so Fumeral can't dispense with it immediately. But what can he play off it? He can play a High Tide, so he has to have a really good hand, which Marcus has already okayed to go off. I feel like this game is Marcus's. I don't think you could possibly go wrong here. Which means we'll be seeing a game 3.
That's
Exciting finale.
So like it going to the 3 games, get to see more Magic action here.
Get to see a lot more blue. A lot of blue. As Garfield intended, 2 players kind of playing creatures, kind of playing lands, just messing around
the
with
best spells in Magic.
Messing around with really unfair cards. Draw a land off Jace.
Got a land. It's got a counter spell.
Guess it doesn't do anything.
I think you just got the defense grid here. I don't think it's doing enough for you.
I tend to agree, but his line might just be like land, cast, defense grid. That's the only way he's going to. He needs to build up his mana base again.
Yeah.
I don't really see a line for Gene, unfortunately. Yeah. But look, he's the one in the hot seat. He's the one that can.
Yeah, so he decides to play the defense grid. So if he goes off, his opponent's not going to be interacting with him. Well, at least he hopes not.
Yes, that's correct. Defense grid isn't 2-sided, is it? It's 1-sided.
Yeah. No, it's mirrored.
Oh, it is. So opponents can't play.
Each player's opponent cannot play spells unless they play 3 more during their opponent's
I thought it might be. Old Urza's legacy cards.
Yeah. They didn't really do the one-sided thing until like after the new board cards, like the Kamigara Post.
They kind of figured out that hey, when I play a card, I want it to work for me and not my opponent. This is a 2-player game, but not a 2-player game.
Cards are no longer fair or balanced; they only benefit
Yeah,
me.
like the obvious one was when they changed slivers. It only affects slivers you control. Very selfish. Back in M12, I believe, or M15, maybe.
I was not a fan of that.
You weren't a fan?
I like the hive mind affecting everyone. As a casual player.
Jace to 9. Yeah,
a well-known casual player.
Jace to 9, keep it on top. That just feels awful. The worst is when you know in your head you can draw 1 card to win the game, and they fate seal it, and they leave it up, and then you draw it and go, because they don't care about the card that you know will win you the game.
Yep.
Jace down to 2. I think it's good being more conservative. Setting up a second threat with Liliana.
Yeah, just gonna see if the zombie army can get there as well.
Weird. It feels weird now that we've got the amass keyword and she doesn't amass. She does a different thing, but it feels like she should be amassing as
I don't know. Like, I was really hoping the one of black enchantment would end up being another bit of bossum, but it just makes something a little bit bigger each turn.
It's fine with Skull Clamp.
That's true.
As long as you draw the Skull Clamp before it makes the guy a 2/2.
Okay,
it gets a bit awkward.
I think the Spellseeker that just got drawn can do. Oh no, this is a Ponder. So we've got Island, Mana Leak, Spellseeker.
Spellseeker also costs.
Yeah.
And Jace hasn't got enough loyalty to actually cast High Tide.
Well, not anymore. Not after that Ponder.
No.
No, he draw the island here.
This
right?
is a Ponder from hand, so that Wandering Funeral knocked Jace down to 2.
Yep.
So Jace is
That
just going
makes
to have
more
to tick
sense.
up on nothing. It's a shame Jace can't target the fumarole, even though it's going to be a creature. Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked is the Mind Sculptor.
That poor Jace.
Go, draw for turn. Do we have anything that'll end this a little quicker, or are we just sitting on
I
the
think-
Jace to 11 plan?
I think we're doing Jace to 12.
Oh, was Jace on 10, was he?
Well,
I thought he was on 9. 7, 9, 11, yeah.
Yeah.
And then next turn it goes to 13, because there's been no interaction with it. It's going to be...
we'll attack him with the Ephemeral. Quick, hit the Jace again. Removing the
that.
options.
I agree. You're not going to win this game on life total. You could have done. You could be setting up for a life total win this game, but also the Jace is just as good, and you don't want to give your opponent any freedom. You took a risk earlier in the game, and
So
I think it's
takes
paid
the
off.
island, which you already knew was there. It's a spell seeker.
Even now, Marcus is
So I
just like,
think
"What are
we're-
you doing? Please don't kill me."
Well, I think we're getting the Chain of Vapor here for the Jace.
That would make sense. Now, Chain of Vapor just copies itself. It doesn't like recast or anything, right?
You can sacrifice a land to make a copy of it.
And then they can copy as well. So he doesn't want to send it back because then Liliana goes away.
And you really don't want to be bouncing the defense
Spell
grid
Seeker
or
or the defense grid, yeah.
The defense grid maybe a little bit, but it's not worth your Lily.
I was just wondering if it was one of those things where it's like you exile it and then cast the copy, and then the cast copy costs 3 more because defense grid.
Yeah.
That would have been so good.
Well, a defense grid, I would guess, only affects spells being cast similar to.
Oh yeah, but some things that make copies say you may cast the copy.
Right. That makes
Defense has got an S.
checking it up.
Oh, well, that's not a Chain of Vapor. That is a finale of blue.
That is
Devastation. Is that the
Finale Revelation.
Revelation? Yeah. Yeah, you heard me. Why do they move all the colors around? It's so confusing.
Yeah, I don't feel green is a devastating color.
Destruction. Yeah, and then red. It's the glory one is
Yeah.
something I don't know.
Well, that's because that's
So Marcus has drawn Ancestral Visions for turn. What are you gonna do with that finale? What does that finale do?
So the finale will draw. So it's X blue, draw X cards.
It is the X one. Yeah,
If X is 10 or more,
It untaps
shuffle up
5
everything and
lands.
untap 5 lands.
it becomes a time twister.
Yeah.
But he's far from doing anything with that. What's his game here? Maybe he feels he's not going to be able to get past his first card. He needs to punch through a little
I'm
further.
just not sure exactly. Maybe he's just gonna. I don't know how many X draw spells is, but maybe this is just what the best draw spell is. So he's gonna go for that and then.
Possible. It also has to come from Spellseeker as well. So it might just be the biggest draw spell he can get from Spellseeker. There's a Vendilion Clique. He's going to look at his hand, which he knows already, and he's going to put it on the bottom. Would you Fate Seal first? See what he's drawing?
Hard to say. I think if you know what you're doing with the Vendilion click, then it's fine for the most part.
Yeah, but what if Gene just drew the God hand now?
The god hand.
I don't know what that is. I can't think of it, but I'm sure someone sitting at home will watch this and just scream, "This kid just draw this and win the game." And I will be wrong. But if you do,
So we've got a Lily under them.
I agree. I always forget to put the emblem out and then forget to put the zombies out. And 4 turns later, I'm like, didn't I have a Liliana? Oh yeah, that's right. I was trying to win the game with this.
Well, it's a competitive rel, so if you miss your trigger, that's your fault.
That is true. Also, we shouldn't be using dice as tokens. Lurtow, dodge on the floor. Oh, he's using Jace. That's okay.
And looks like he's going for the zombie tokens here.
There we go. Couple zombies. So the emblem makes X zombies where X plus 2 zombies where X is the current amount of zombies. So right now it makes 0 plus 2, and next time it'll make 2 plus 2.
Gene is happy to scoop to that.
Yeah, look, that's fair enough. I think
That
Gene
was
may have been happy to scoop for a while ago, but
That was a slog of a game.
that was a slug of a game. Let me just reset the old. Oh, they just did it for us. What champs?
So we're going to of finals. So as we mentioned earlier, this is the Highlander 500 event for general games. That means that there is $500 of cash prize on the line for this event. So there's big game that these guys are playing for at the moment.
Indeed.
So Gene looks like he's just checking to make sure he's happy with what he's boarded, where Marcus has just gone straight into shuffling.
So Marcus is happy with his current deck configuration, or he's using the shuffle to facilitate mental energy. A lot of people do that. They shuffle the deck a few times, think about it. Now he's salting the board.
Yep, so both players going to board here, making sure they're happy. Marcus is going for an extra 2 cards by the look of it. See if we can work out what they are in a few moments. Like,
What did Gene board in? You know.
I know we know there was the defense grid and the Narset. Not sure about what the card bought in would.
Narset. What does Narset do? Refresh me.
Okay, so Narset is one of the planeswalkers from the set, and it's one of the planeswalkers which has a tick down ability.
There's a few of those.
Exactly what it does. So
I found it here.
Narset, Arter of Veils.
Yeah, 1 blue, 5. Each opponent can't draw. Oh, so she's got the
yeah. So it's got half of Leovold.
Leovold. That's right. Yeah, each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn.
And -2 impulse.
Yeah, seems like a perfect card. I could see that.
It's not quite impulse. It's non-creature, non-land. So more of a the flip side of Search for Azcanta.
As Cantor, the Sunken Ruins or
Sunken Ruin.
The Hidden Ruins. Something happened to Azcanta. It's not as clean as it used to be.
Yeah. See the him on the bottom of Marcus's library.
Good old Narset used to be a 6-mana creature. Then it was a Planeswalker, and now it's a blue Planeswalker.
I don't think I've seen
She's just been
Narset
shedding colours.
yes,
her
Narset the Enlightened Master.
When she attacks, she casts Time Walker. That's how it works.
Only Time Walk?
There's many Time Walkers you can find. That's how it works in Commander, at least.
Right, that would make sense.
She's got First Strike and Hexproof. She's pretty safe.
Yeah, seems fine.
Yeah, you XL top 4 cards, you can cast any number of... yeah. You just cast a Time Stretch and then cast a sword and just keep it going.
I've seen that card in a Judge's Tower before.
Yeah.
Which is not something that you want to see when you
Alright, back to the game.
Back to the game. Okay, Mental Misstep, Ponder.
Red Blast.
I think Careful Study?
Or Pyroblast, I can't tell. From Marcus here.
Ponder. So the fourth Mental Misstep, okay. And the Mental Misstep is immediately used on the Ponder. You do have one of the Red Blast type cards.
Would you not wait for High Tide?
I think I might. Like, Gene doesn't really have discards, so it's nice to just be able to hold it up until you get something relevant.
Fairly greedy. So I think I want to keep it for High Tide, just let the Ponder go and then keep Gene in a state of feeling safer than he is. But he could just counter back and then I'd just be dead. So
not sure, but I think I might have just seen a Time Walk in Marcus's deck, which makes this a very different variant of Kess to what I was expecting.
Well then, let's hope. That'd be sweet.
Need to check that in a few moments. Might just have missed on the picture though.
I have the deck list here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we've got a card in.
Okay, there's points at Dig Through Time, Force of Will, True Name, Mana Drain, and Snap Custom Mage and Jason One.
Traditional Melbourne points.
Yep. No Treasure Cruise.
No treasure.
They died. Unless if he's playing a Time Walk, it's definitely over the points limit. Any other strange... So he's probably taken out Toxic Deluge in this matchup. I can't imagine it still being...
Yeah, no, that's not something that will be floating around.
In the side, he has Anger of the Gods, Abrade, Chandra Torch, Ashiok Dream Render. I imagine that came in.
Yeah, the Ashiok's really... Well, we did...
Saw Cody do some work with it.
Well, we saw Cody do it, but I think a similar line would be taken.
It did a lot of work. It chewed away his library and left him with very little. Because although Gene doesn't need many cards to go off, he does need cards to exist somewhere.
Like, there's been a lot of just, like... the new cards making their impact felt immediately on it, which is nice. I think it's the first week since it's come out.
Well, they came out yesterday.
Yeah.
So they were legal in Magic as of yesterday. Misstep here. So interesting he didn't cast Misstep targeting the Inquisition. So well, it's because he doesn't...
Well, the other card that he could take...
is this one. What does this card do? Oh,
this is Madness Draw card.
Would he like? But it's 2 life for some protecting information.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's relevant, but it might be. I think I would have in Gene's situation. I think I would have misstepped
Just
back
missed on the
because I'm
misstep.
going to lose it to the Inquisition anyway.
Yeah.
And I want him to think like he's dead.
That's fair.
Because if he thinks he's safe, he's going to start playing cards that actually end the game. I don't want that.
Okay, so we get Snap Island on top.
We've got a red elemental blast, a force of will, a Jace Mind Sculptor, a brainstorm, a verdant catacombs. That's a spicy
It's a
hand.
stacked hand.
Like you'd be feeling good with that keep.
Yeah.
Whereas
He's got both like the game ending spells and just like the cheaper interaction as well, which is really nice.
Gene has some pointed cards. He has a pointed card each time. Very, very strong card, but it's a little bit off playing it for its unfair mana cost.
Yeah.
And he's got a ways to go before he can actually assemble a semblance of a win.
Well, he's getting pretty close to be able to do it for the medium cost of like 4 land and 4 cards in graveyard.
That doesn't feel good.
It doesn't, but it's still fine for the most
Oh,
part.
it's totally fine.
Mark is going for the Steam Vents.
So I imagine Gene probably brought in blue.
Yeah.
If anything, just to counter the red blast.
Maybe, I'm not sure exactly how effective it is. I know there's like in the test decks and the Blue Moon decks, you go for the 2 red blast, 2 blue blast, but just feels how much impact you feel those spells are going to have on the hand, because a lot of the red is damage from the test decks, so might not value it as highly as they're going to be boarding out a lot of those things.
For sure. He's also got counterbalance on the board. He brought that in against Cody.
He did
is that
board
right?
that in against Cody.
So he'd probably stay on theme and bring it in against Marcus here.
And I believe the last one that got bought in, well, it was Mental Misstep was the 4th one.
Sure. So only 4 cards?
It was 4 cards last time. He did have a look, so it may have been adjusted a little as well.
Got Nimble Obstructionist. That's one of my pet cards. I love that card. Retrace Image, Repeal, Stifle, Submerge, Into the Royal, Mental Misstep, Narset, Dream Halls. Do like a Dream Halls.
Well, Dream Halls is in there specifically for if someone goes for the surgical plan on, or similar effect on High Tide.
That makes sense. You're looking at an interesting one, Bribery here. I can see that being very strong against.
I would definitely play that against a reanimator
or
player.
a Flash player.
Yeah, that as well.
There was a Flash player in our tournament today, and he didn't even Hulk people. He just put a Worldspine Worm into play, and then didn't want to pay for it. So suddenly it was 3 5/5s. I wouldn't mind bribing a Worldspine Worm.
You could say.
I chose not to. That's what it says on Flash. You can choose to pay for it. So it's interesting sideboard here from Gene. Would he bring the Bribery and take the Kess? That's pretty sweet. Makes the deck way easier if you just cast spells from graveyard.
That's a lot easier to play.
Young Pyromancer.
Not a lot of bounce on the Grixis side of the matchup.
No. Marcus's hand, with that Young Pyromancer will turn into about 3 more creatures if Gene tries to go off near.
Yeah. And not even that, it's just if he tries to interact at all.
He's got the Force and the Red Blast. Does he have a blue spell for the Force?
Well, he's got
blue
the
card?
Jace.
He's got the Jace, of course. So Force and Jace are glued together right now until he finds something to replace it with. It always feels bad pitching points to Force, but if you survive, it's worth it.
I had to pitch a Dig Through Time for Force the other day. It hurt.
It does. I saw Cody.
So we're going for the turnabout.
I saw Cody pitch a dig to a Force.
I think he's going for tap out the opponent here.
Tap out the opponent. Tap both fetch lands.
Well, tap all lands target player controls. That's gross. I don't know that the opponent had the Force in hand, but that's...
Do you just let this resolve and then surprise him with the Force?
Well, how scared are you of that unknown card is the question.
Well, that's the thing. If you force the turnabout, I feel like Gene's winning.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah, like, you can't let that dig resolve, I don't think, but that unknown card there, I think you're probably fine with it.
He might blue blast it, a red blast this.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's what we're going for as well.
Or he's fetching just to again think longer. Getting Island and Swamp. Oh, maybe he's fetching them now so that he doesn't get trapped by a back to basics.
Trying not to get locked under the back to basics.
That would be very, very funny if he didn't crack them and tap them and then Gene played a back to basics. I think this is an excellent move
having tapped out fetches is
so embarrassing.
Horrible.
This is a good move by Marcus. I'm very impressed right now. I think I would have missed that one.
Okay, so we're having a look. I think that's a High Tide that's on top there, so he must have seen that. No, that's an island.
I completely agree with holding Force here and surprising him when he tries to go off.
Okay, so that's an opt.
That's an opt. Right, I couldn't. It looks like a whole bunch of people fighting in a canyon. How is that opt?
Oh, that's a good question.
It could be anything on those old designs. Probably some guy serving dinner to a goblin or something. That's how old cards work.
What would you opt for dinner?
Did you type in opted together and got thousands of cards?
Thousands and thousands.
How many
of cards.
Thofters you got?
Well, no, it does search for the start of the name, so it's only searching for optical
Okay.
cards. Okay, so it appears to be someone writing an essay why the skyship Weatherlight is in the background.
Or is that?
Oh, actually, no, it's
she's
Hannah on the skyship Weatherlight.
underwater.
And the flavor text tells you what this card is all
Oh,
about.
okay, yep.
We need alternative Hannah. Yell Gerard. Now.
So she's-
So this is very flavorful if you know the story from 20 years ago.
the Wizards just contract 6 artists and say, "Hey, we need art." What for? I don't know. Just give us art and we'll find cards for them.
Yeah.
So this is their like. Okay, we're designing. What is it? Apocalypse. We're designing Apocalypse, and we've got our 7 card images. Let's just design cards for them.
Okay. We've
All right,
got a
young
3.
Pizzy in.
And then once they've got the card text, it's just like, how do we make the name make sense?
It's a 3-step process. So what we missed while we were laughing about old opt was Force of Will on Dig Through Time, which I think would have thrown Gene off a little.
And then we've
And
got...
then we've seen Young Pyromancer token and True Name coming to the battle.
So we've got a clock here now. It's a 3-turn clock. And Gene is...
Marcus is still sitting on. Oh, as a Direfleet Daredevil, is it the one?
Yeah,
Direfleet Daredevil? Redcaster Mage?
Redcaster Mage, Wandering Funeral comes down.
Does he have enough to just cast Dig Through Time off that Redcaster Mage?
Ooh.
He could just tap black, blue, or something, cast it, delve the rest, and be in a very good spot.
Can he cast his... Well, can he delve his own graveyard
I believe
off the
so.
Redcaster Mage?
I believe he can.
That
Miss-
is quite the play then.
He's cycling Miscalculation, not what he needs right now. The threats are actually on the board, not in the hand.
Yep.
We're at 6 lands. We can almost play a
Yeah, it looks like he can.
3-4-5. Which is not very impressive. Oh, it does slow down the damage.
Yeah, like...
Yep,
that thing
there it
blocks.
is.
That thing is going to do some blocking of a Young Pyromancer.
This might be the first time I've
think.
seen it actually untap all 7 lands. Just get a red plastic. Get out of my face.
Yep.
I don't want to deal with
And he's got a Pyroblast to back the Red Blast up, so...
that. Oh, really?
Yeah, he's managed to draw both of those. I don't think Gene is going to be coming back from this very quickly.
No. No, that's quite crippling. Your opponent has that many sideboard cards. Especially in a format
of
like
them
this
in
where the
hand.
sideboard cards are so powerful.
And I think that's the bond that he's got in hand.
In Gene's hand?
Yeah.
So Marcus has a Pyroblast and a Counterspell.
Ah, of course. Yeah, so we're into the next turn, and the
Unless
two
it's a
rolls coming
Direfleet
out,
Dead, I wasn't thinking of.
and that's exactly 11 damage. This is the Alpha Swing, and Gene is tapped out.
Oh!
So that is a fantastic win for Marcus there.
Yeah.
Kess being the deck on top again.
Wow. Well, congratulations, Marcus, for winning our first Highlander 500. We've run Modern, we've run Standard. This is our first Highlander one. We'll definitely be doing this again. Good job.
Yeah, that was some great games, and yeah, thanks a lot for watching.
Yes, I've been Scott. This is Graham. We're here at General Games. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all the social medias. Catch us soon for some more Highlander content, and we'll see you later.